What you're about to watch is a nightmare. It is not meant to be prophetic. It need not happen. It's the fervent and urgent prayer of all men of goodwill that it never shall happen.
Well, he would know. Well, we're working on it. Welcome to Loose Change. And I still don't know why I call it that, but I'm Jim Evans. Thanks for joining us. We have a very special show. I'm really looking forward to talking to our guest here in just a few moments, so hang tight for that. First off, what's been going on, Greg? As always, I'm at home laying on the couch, TV's on, I'm dozing in and out, as usual. I look up and I see what I think is a lottery show, because I see all these zeros. You know, we've had those $2 billion jackpots recently, and I see all these zeros, and then I look closer, just a rerun of The Bachelor. Speaking of zeros and money, Greg, you get your taxes all done okay and everything? I had a unique experience this year with that, because right before submitting my taxes, I had to go see my chiropractor. And as it turns out, he has a side hustle as an accountant. So I doubled down, what the heck? And he took care of my back taxes. Yeah, that's what he did. So. Did you hear this, though? Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban had to pay $276 million in taxes this year. $276 million. Who's he have doing this for him? Dunder Mifflin Paper Trail Tax Service Incorporated. Ask for Dwight Schrute and Michael Scott, I guess. I don't know. $276 million. That's almost 2/3 of the GDP of the developing country Tonga. And I always laugh when I hear newscasters, whoever, refer to developing countries. You know, it's 2024. If your country is not yet developed, hey, it ain't gonna be. Just move into the basement of a developed country and ride that train. Okay. Hey, we're really into baseball season now. How about the Cleveland Guardians? Man, playing great baseball. They have the best record as of taping of the show in the majors. And that's despite not having ace pitcher Shane Bieber out for the year. Had Tommy John surgery on his elbow, and they've done quite well. And you know, baseball is so unique in so many ways. And I think it's the only sport where a significant surgical procedure is named after a player. Tommy John. He started with the Indians as a pitcher, obviously, in the early 60s. And then in 1974, blew out his elbow. Dr. Frank Jobe came up with this new, radical at the time, surgical procedure, fixed him right up, came back, pitched 15 more years, did really well. And now it's just routine surgery. And I was thinking, if the first player to have this done, say his name was Randolph Hitzler, they'd have just called it elbow surgery. Can we go with Randy? No, that's not it. You hear this? This is kind of stunning. Greg, you guys hear this? It was just revealed, the rollout of a time machine, an actual time machine, that can take you back in time almost 200 years. Well, that's for women who live in Arizona. Greg, I was at the coffee shop last week, overheard these two guys talking, and one guy says, man, I'm really looking forward to this big matchup between that over-the-hill geezer and that loudmouth egomaniac. And I leaned over and said, you talking about the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight? He said, nah, the upcoming presidential showdown. We have that to look forward to, I guess. Let's see, what else? Hey, lights. Whoa. Are we having another eclipse?
Nah, yeah. I think somebody just shut out or pulled the plug on the lights.
Someone pulled the plug on the lights?
Just kidding.
Does that guy still work here? Hey, don't you pull the plug on us. We'll be right back, and we'll be joined by Joe Eusebio. So hang with us here on Loose Change. I'm going to see if Johnny's at the hall right now. Got to get that guy.
Always will be Armstrong. We've stood by our name, from our humble beginnings in 1946 through the millions spent expanding fiber broadband in our communities. We've never changed our name to run from our reputation. We've established trust by simply putting our people, customers, and services first. It's a practice that holds true and will continue at Armstrong.
Welcome back. You see, I wasn't kidding. I'm Jim Evans, and I have the great pleasure to be joined by one of my great longtime friends, Joe Eusebio of YSN and other folklore. And it's great to see you. We haven't
You
seen
too, Jimmy.
each other much in recent time,
No,
and
man.
I really thank you for coming in.
Oh, my pleasure. I think it was the Curbstone Coaches Hall of Fame.
Well, we saw golf last year.
And then we golfed right after.
That's right.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
and
Good
then,
point.
but not enough for sure. But what we like to have our victims or our guests do off the top. For those who don't know you,
Sure.
give us a little background where you went to school and how your career in broadcasting took shape and took its path.
I'm a South Range graduate. Very proud of that. And
Yes,
though,
sir.
I've gone over toward the Columbiana side with my my sons. My two sons will graduate from Columbiana. My older kids graduated from South Range. So I'm kind of torn between the two.
It's all right.
But-
Understandable.
But proud South Range grad for sure. State champs.
Got that right.
Yeah. And I went to, I spent a couple years at Muskingum College, played football at Muskingum, played football at South Range, and then came up to YSU and ended up graduating from YSU, and that's where I kind of got into radio. And that's where I met you, at down in Salem.
That's right.
WSOM and WQXK. So and that's how long we've known each other. So I mean, that's over
going back a little bit.
over 40 years, which is insane to me. But I worked in broadcasting for a number of years down there in Salem.
Yep.
I spent some time at Y103 and really like sports. That's why I wanted to get into the business in the first place. So you and I meeting and working together for all those years, and not just in music, but also doing games and stuff.
a lot of games
A lot of
together,
games
yeah.
in Salem, and then later when you were at KBN. So that's what was perfect, for me. I really enjoyed working, with you, and really enjoyed doing sports on radio. And that's kind of how it evolved into the YSN thing that I'm doing today.
Yeah.
So I get the chance to do games. Most of them are games my son's playing in. And so that's even more fun sometimes. Because sometimes you
I would
forget.
think, yeah, it should be, yeah.
It's like, oh, what are you swinging at? That kind of stuff always, kind of happens there. And you're not real professional, but it's, brings the human element, the family
That's
element
right.
into it. But that's kind of what I'm doing now with YSN. Being able to do games is great. And how great would YSN have been when we were coming up? To have the opportunity to learn and to do that type of work basically daily if you wanted to. So it's a great thing that DJ and Brian Scott are doing down there. And I'm just glad to be a part of that.
So you're doing all three of the major sports: football, basketball, and baseball.
And don't forget volleyball.
Are you doing that as
Oh,
well?
I did
Okay.
volleyball too,
All
which
right.
is very
You may have
difficult.
told me
Yeah.
that.
It's great because I started off 3 years ago. My son was playing, as a freshman at Columbiana, and I noticed that Mark Franken, who Chase Franken's dad, and the Columbiana coach Bryce Franken, that's his dad as well. Mark was doing a lot of the Columbiana games at the time, and then Mark got off into other things, and now Mark's the head coach at Heartland Christian School.
Okay.
So there was nobody doing the games. So we've known about YSN for years. I reached out to a DJ and said, "Are you going to have anybody doing the Clipper games?" And they said, "You want to do it?" And I said, "Sure, let's try it." So that's how it happened. And then from baseball, it went into football the following year. As I said, volleyball, boys and girls basketball, and then baseball in the spring. I haven't done softball yet. I'd like to, because the Columbiana Clippers.
They're pretty good, right?
They're very good, yeah. And I'd love to do that too, but there's so much, baseball and softball really at the same time, so it's really hard to find a game to do.
I've never called softball or volleyball. I mean, I've done some baseball, not as much, obviously, as you have now. It was just spots here and there. But, primarily for me, it's been football and basketball.
Sure.
But what's volleyball been like? How do you approach that, and how do you call that, and what's your mindset?
I had to find my way. I
Yeah,
did.
really, yeah,
And
yeah.
for me, it's all about memorizing, the girls,
Yes,
knowing
right,
who's
good,
playing,
yes.
because a lot of times you only have the chance to say Heinrich, to I'm trying to think of some of the other volleyball players, Malcolmson to Loveland, and it swings it over to the other side. And just you pick up some of the terms. But Anthony Hartwig, who also works at YSN and also a proud South Range grad, really helped me out a lot with knowing what to say. I obviously never played volleyball.
Yeah, right.
Now, my wife Denise played volleyball, was a good high school volleyball player, so she helped me a lot too with some of the terminology and being able to make sure I'm not sounding completely ignorant, which I have done. But Coach Jen Martin down in Columbiana is great and has helped me out a little bit too, sharing information with me and stuff. So it's really just about getting them on, getting them out there so that people can see them.
Right.
And just not screw up too bad, and just give them that outlet, little publicity, of course. But also, the greatest thing that I found about YSN is the grandparents and the family members.
That's what I was going to touch on, yeah.
All over the country who get to watch
Right.
because, DJ Oakley and Brian Scott and some other folks down there put all this together. And it's wonderful. And I hear it all the time. I've got the Clancy family that plays for Columbiana. They played football, basketball, baseball, everything. They've got relatives in New Jersey. They're from New Jersey, and they're constantly, saying, "Hey, my grandparents just heard us, heard you, and got to be able to see me play, and thank you very much." And that kind of stuff's great. I had a lady come. We were at Eastwood Field Friday night for the big battle between Crestview and Columbiana. That was
cool up there.
Oh, it was great. Columbiana won, so that's why it was great. But even if Crestview won, first time in 7 years the teams have played. So because of the political, with the changing of the leagues and all that. So it was great. Bubble Tech sponsored it and got everybody. It was the largest high school game largest crowd ever at Eastwood Field. They've sponsored games over the years. It's the biggest crowd. They had over 500 people there to watch a high school game between Crestview and Columbiana. So, long story short.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was great. Long story long, I guess now, but I had a lady come up to me and goes, "Are you Joe from YSN?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Thank you. We watch in Pennsylvania all the time. We were able to come in because this was a big game to watch my grandson play. But thank you for doing the games." And it just blows you away that before that, there was never an opportunity for grandparents, especially, it seems like grandparents who might live in Florida or elsewhere, being able to watch their grandkids play.
Yeah, watch is the operative word there because, now with radio, like my brother will listen to some of our football broadcasts, just to go online and listen to it. But you have the opportunity to have viewers and they get to not only hear you, but see what's going on.
Correct. Now, I find a lot of people have told me, well, it's on, we're listening more than we're watching.
Well, that happens too.
Yeah, but the difference is, and it'll change over as YSN goes further and goes forward. But it's not. There's not a lot of. It's not 3 camera or 4 camera.
Right.
There's no switcher or anything.
Right.
It's a static camera that's out there on the field, or the court or wherever. But it's something. It's certainly more than they've ever had
still
before.
there.
Exactly. And it's great. Kids have put together highlight videos based on it. To send to colleges and stuff. And it's just. It's a great little thing that they're not little anymore. It's a big thing that they're doing.
I got the opportunity to watch a couple games when you guys were down in Myrtle Beach a couple of weeks ago, and I caught 2 parts of 2 of the broadcasts, and you had the camera squeezed into the back there. You get what you get, but that's where your expertise comes in to kind of fill in the blanks when we're not able to quite see.
And you hope you can, as we learned, and I learned from you doing radio, is just you paint the picture.
Right.
You just try to be as descriptive as you can, and that's what we did. Now with baseball, you could put the camera. Basically I have bungee cords, and I tie the camera up so that it's up right next to the fence, and you're not getting the whole field, but you are getting more of a close-up, picture there.
Right.
For example, we were in East Liverpool last weekend, and there were the umpire is basically leaning against the fence anyway, the backstop, because it's really a real tight fit there. And I'm right there. I mean, the catcher is 10 feet away. The batter's right there. You got a great view of the pitcher. So it's fun to do that, but it's also a little nerve-wracking because the umpire can hear what you're saying. And the kids can too, but especially the umpire, because
you're right.
Occasionally will criticize or maybe second guess. Oh, that was a little low. I don't know. And then he's sitting right there saying, "Oh, it was a good catch." Oh, okay, all right, we're good. Okay,
come on, Blue.
Yeah. So get a lot of that when you're up that close. So sometimes it's much better to be farther away.
What has been, aside from volleyball, of the football, baseball, basketball, what's been the most challenging for you so far? In terms of calling the game.
Sure. Honestly, I thought, because you and I did a lot of basketball games together, but you were the dean. You were the man. the dean, we called Jimmy because he was.
I don't have that money to give you right now.
He'd done it for years and was so good at it. I still think basketball is your best, if you're good at it.
I enjoy doing, as much as I love doing football,
Yeah.
but I enjoy calling basketball
Yeah,
the best.
I thought I would be terrible at basketball, and I'm still not good, but I enough of it that I really enjoy it.
Yes.
And it's because it's quick. You're only
tempo,
memorizing,
right, yeah.
so many names at a time. It's football. It's tough because you got 22 plus another probably 10 or 15. You got to try to know or at least look at a sheet really quick. Basketball, I find I can keep up with it a little better, but it's tough. You gotta stay with it. And then we're also adding the score, putting the score in and all of that as well. So there's different things that
You have to do that part of it.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun part of YSN is you're running the scoreboard, you're doing everything.
How does that play for you doing baskets if it's up and down?
It's it's a challenge. Yeah. So don't look at the score all the time because it's not always right. Because a lot of times I'll have to say, "Oh, time to get caught up on the scoreboard here." It looks like I was off by a couple. So that happens. But people, as long as you're trying and you're there, people aren't. They're very very sweet, very generous.
And with baseball, of course, you have more fill.
Yes.
That you have to come up with, and that makes it a little more challenging.
It really
You're by
does.
yourself.
Right. Oh, yeah. The different thing with baseball, though, that's kind of neat is, especially in a YSN situation, now there's guys that do a lot of teams all the time. That you've got a couple of dedicated people that just do, will only do, say, Austintown, or will only do, in my case, Columbiana. But you've got other people that are doing different teams every night. So that's a little tougher. I've got one team where I'm set. I mean, I know all the kids.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
that
makes
helps.
a big difference.
Yeah. So, but I do stats. I research before the game. I prepare. Also, something else I learned from you. One of the best preparation people in the business. But I prepare. I get all the averages. Runs, hits, errors, how many strikeouts, everything. Put it all together for both teams as long as it's available for both. And I'll share all that information, which really helps. And then for Columbiana, what I've also done is I did a questionnaire for the kids. What's your favorite ice cream?
Right.
Who's your favorite teacher? And that kind of
fill
stuff.
in.
It's great, and you find out,
people like that.
Absolutely. Like who's your, dream walk-up song, and I'm finding out that a lot of these songs I don't know anymore,
I was going to ask you that question. We're going to take a break. And a lot more to go here with Joe Eusebio from YSN, so stick around.
Supercharge your internet. Only Zoom Extreme from Armstrong combines unlimited data with whole home Wi-Fi at the fastest speeds possible. Zoom Extreme from Armstrong.
Welcome back. Along with Joe Eusebio, I'm Jim Evans here on Loose Change, and where we left off, you were talking about walk-up songs. And I noticed that when I was watching your games down in Myrtle Beach. So they got the walk-up songs in high school baseball. So what was Alex's? I didn't catch.
He's had a couple. Right now, he likes, oh my gosh, I'm going to get it wrong. Don Tolliver. There's a couple of just really big rappers. Kendrick Lamar, he really likes Kendrick, and that's what I'm finding mostly.
Right.
So it's just really funny the songs that you'd think these kids are, I mean they're hip to these songs. The adults have no clue,
right.
But they love it. It's really.
What would be your walk-up song?
My walk-up song, I was debating this. Probably something from maybe Thomas the Tank Engine or something like that.
Okay.
No.
Come on.
It'd be something from probably Bruce Springsteen.
I was going to say, come on, it's got to be.
Probably like Born to Run or
Prove It
All Night.
I'd have to go with Sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel. Got to go with Sledgehammer, especially if you're a home run, a power hitter.
Got it. That's perfect.
Man.
And they can do that
People
now.
would
It
sing
translates.
that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You come up to bat. So
you remember Sledgehammer and Bowling League?
That's
We'll move on.
another conversation. Yeah. But you have the opportunity to do the football games with the Clippers, and of course, that means you had the experience of working with Coach Bob Spate, one of the most colorful and prominent coaches we have in our area, and I always enjoy talking with him when I have the chance. Yeah. We might even catch one of their games this year, possibly. But what's that been like for you?
Bob is. I don't get to work necessarily like weekly with Bob personally, but okay. I get Bob from a distance, and that's through a DJ talks to Bob quite a bit. My person, my color person in the football, we do have somebody for that. Is a kid named Eric Hoffensees. I say kid. He's 23. He's a grown man.
Kid.
But yeah, he's a young grown man. But Eric played for Coach Spate, so Eric has all the great stories,
sure,
having
yeah.
played and then now doing it, doing the games up in the booth. Eric and I have worked together the last couple of years, and he's really good. And now, though, he's going to be the JV basketball coach at
Really?
Columbiana. I hope I'm not breaking any news there. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. But he is, so I'm hoping to get him back to do football this fall. We'll have to see. If not, if you had any downtime.
Well, we'll see what's going on this fall. Who knows from day to day.
Yeah.
But now, Alex, your son Alex, stand out in baseball and basketball. Which is his favorite?
Baseball,
Yeah, you
by far.
you mentioned that before.
Basketball, and he was not, they're Columbiana, we had a really good year, won
Yes,
tied
they
for
did.
the EOAC championship, won 17 games. And Alex was a contributor. He started the last 3 years, but he was never the star. With Maddox Brown, Seth
key, though,
Straharic,
yeah,
but
he's
he was the big guy. He was the
Yeah.
6'3", was the tallest guy out there. Had a lot of rebounds and good passer. And he'd average about 7 a game and 8 rebounds a game, and it was fine. But that was a way to be with his buddies and compete. But baseball is what he really, truly loves. Yeah.
Pitching.
He prefers
his
pitching.
forte, yeah, okay.
He's also. I'm bragging on my kid, which I didn't want to do.
Well,
but
yeah, you
very
should.
good,
That's why
excellent
we're here.
third baseman, very good fielder, great arm. Hits the ball. He had a big triple the other night at Eastwood against Crestview. And he loves baseball. Baseball's a sport he's going to be playing in college at College of Worcester.
Oh, that's I was
official.
going to get to
Yep.
that next.
Yep. So
Well,
he's
great.
very excited about that and being able to get the chance to continue playing baseball, which is something that he always wanted to do. So very, very excited about that.
He's pumped a no-hitter or two, hasn't he? Or?
Yeah, he did. He threw one his sophomore year. He was part of another one his sophomore year, I guess it was. And since then, a couple, no complete game, no hitters, but 4 innings here, whatever. But yeah, he's part of that. But mostly, you just want to get the dubs, get the
Right.
wins, and that's what he's been fairly successful with. So he's happy about that.
It just seems here recently, over the last few years, maybe a little bit longer, but how difficult it's been in the spring now for high school sports, everything,
Yeah.
but softball, track, with
yep.
the off and on weather that we have. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's kind of hard to get a groove and get some team momentum going.
And that's kind of
bouncing around.
what happened. Well, not just Columbiana, but with lots of teams.
Oh, yeah, not just you guys.
Columbiana, we've been fortunate. We got 6 in a row in last week. We played
Oh,
Monday
wow.
through Saturday last week, which not everybody was able to do that.
Did you call all those games?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Monday through Saturday.
Holy
we played.
cow.
Yeah. Now a couple of them one was rain shortened, the other one was a mercy rule 5-inning deal. But yeah, we did them all.
Call you Joe Harwell.
It's fun. I'm there anyway. And I always said, well, Alex's senior year, I'm going to bow out. I'm only going to do a couple games. I want to watch. I want to be a fan. I want to be a dad. But I can still be a fan and be a dad and
That's
do
cool.
the games because there was nobody else that would do them or wanted to do them or we had the time to do it. So I was fortunate to do it. So it's fine.
Well, I throw in Harwell there, reference to the late, great Ernie Harwell, the
Yeah.
Tigers. Of course, you're from the Detroit area originally.
Yes, I am.
and,
Grew up with
big,
Ernie.
Big Tigers fan.
Yeah. Anytime, I just heard his voice not too long ago. Went down a rabbit hole on YouTube and pulled up some old baseball video stuff, and Ernie Harwell was doing the voiceover, and it was like, just brings you
He
right
did that
back.
till he was like 92 or 3.
Yeah,
wasn't
he did it when he was at a very advanced age. I mean, not all the games anymore. When at the end of the line, I think he did maybe 20
Still.
a year. But Vin Scully did the same
Same
thing with
thing,
the
yeah.
Dodgers. Vin was at the end of the line too, but he would do the home games. And I happened to be working out in Los Angeles, in that area at the time, and for a couple of years there, and I was great. I could get Vin Scully on the radio down there while I'm driving back from wherever I was that day. So to be able to listen to those people on a regular basis, like Ernie Harwell, Vin Scully, going back, I love Tom Hamilton with the Guardians. I mean, Tom is fantastic, and I remember his first game there. It was like 30-some years ago. And I love Tom.
Well, those guys with that longevity, there's hope for us maybe still.
Maybe.
I don't,
Well, for you, Jimmy, I think I'm
well,
pretty
you're the
much
ones
that.
doing baseball right now. I haven't done that in a while. So.
Yeah, we can
But,
change that.
That's something that, what a job that would have to have.
Yeah.
To be able to do that, and that's your job. Going to the ballpark and calling these games
and
It's
describe what's happening.
Incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. And the style that those people
You gotta
especially
have that,
develop it,
right.
over the years, and the voice and everything's just it's just smooth. Just
And baseball, certainly at that level lends itself to more of more of a conversational thing, and you're like in somebody's living room throughout or you're in the car with them.
Yeah.
But if you can be at home and have that in the background and listen to the game, and all, you get connected to your listeners.
You
that
have
way.
to, and I know it's hokey, but I mean it's the soundtrack to my
Yes.
youth.
Yeah,
I hear
That's
Ernie Harwell
appropriate.
even now, and because we always had the games on, and now I grew up, in the '60s, '70s in Detroit, and it was, you didn't have TV every night. The Tigers
exactly.
were on TV maybe twice a month at that time, so radio was all you had. And that was great to be able to, grow up with someone like that. It was just wonderful.
Did you see McLean pitch, or were you too young?
I saw him pitch, but not live. The first game I ever went to at Tiger Stadium was in 1969. Saw Vida Blue pitch for the A's against the Tigers. It was also Bat Day. Back when they gave you the free bats.
Used to do
Did
that
you ever go to Bat Day?
My dad took us all the time.
Yeah, my dad too. We'd go to Bat Day every year.
These
Now
were
they can't
regulation
do it.
bats. Though.
Yeah.
They were the real thing.
Real wood bats. And now they couldn't do it. You'd have people swinging the bats at each other and throwing them on the field.
Yeah.
But back then it was amazing. Yeah.
We're going to run short on time here, but you were the inaugural class of the South Range High School Football Hall of Fame. Is that correct?
Oh my, yeah. Gosh, yeah. You remembered that.
Bob McNay,
Bob McNay
coach,
was
right?
my coach. It was Bob's last year. And that was before he went to Ohio State when Earl Bruce got the job. Because that's my senior years when Woody punched Charlie Bauman at Clemson.
Right.
So they brought Earl, oh my gosh, Earl Bruce in.
Yes,
I
right,
was
right.
thinking Earl Mann. Because
Well,
that's
that
another
was
story.
His favorite player.
But Earl Bruce came actually to South Range High School and took Bob out of class, and they went down to the Idle Hour Cafe in North Lima and negotiated the big deal. And that sent
Wow.
McNay down to Ohio State. But yeah, I was his last quarterback. And it was
That's really-
great.
that's really something.
He was wonderful.
So that state championship South Range got a couple years ago really had to mean a lot to you and all.
It did. I played with
Raiders
Dan. I played with
alumni,
Danny.
yeah.
Dan Yeagley, and he was a year behind me in school. And then Dan also went to Muskingum, where I'd gone to Muskingum for a couple of years, and then hurt my knee and didn't play football anymore. But I followed Dan's career. Obviously, I went to all the Raider games until my kids got older at Columbiana. But my son Luke and my daughter Natalie both played in the South Range Marching Band and graduated from there. And Drew plays in the Columbiana Marching Band now. And but yeah, to be part of that and the Raiders winning it, and especially Danny doing it, was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. We're almost out of time, but how many years are we going to be doing this? The Glory Days golf outing every Memorial Day for the last
Almost 40 years, really. I mean, yeah, since the early 80s, right?
Joe and myself, Jeff Bryceland, Lou Malvin, Bruce Hartzark for a while, and now Jeff Good has joined the mix.
Joined the crew.
Mostly down at Flying Bee Summit at Salem Hills, but
we played.
got to keep that going. It's only a few
Memorial
weeks
Day.
ahead.
Yeah,
So.
I'm ready.
Get your clubs?
Let's get out there.
All right.
I haven't used them, but that's the one time a year I know I'm going to golf.
Joe, thanks so much for coming in.
Sure, Jimmy.
Great to see you and talk. We could
enjoyed
go
it.
on and on. Maybe we'll see if we can do that again, get an update on how things are going. All right, we'll be back to wrap it up right after we do this. Unfortunately, we're out of time. That's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much, Joe Eusebio. Best of luck to he and the Clippers, and hopefully they do a great job in the tournament ahead. Thanks, as always, to Greg Roden and to all of you for watching and catch us on YouTube. Of course, go to Armstrong Loose Change. I'm Jim Evans, and we'll catch you next time right here. Are you kidding me? He did it again. I got to get that, Johnny.